So we're doing it's called the Heartbeat of My Business series. This is episode number 4, and it's on the power of sisterhood and collaboration. I don't think that I could literally be doing this one with somebody else who gets this.
I love that we're laughing. This is so good. It's such great medicine.
It's great. It's great.
Let's just be real here.
Yeah.
Marsha and I are both navigating a lot of stuff personally right now. And we both got hit. I think it's actually quite humorous that we both got hit with something like this crazy bug.
Yeah.
So we're like, should we show up? Should we reschedule? No, literally, I feel great to do this, but I think it's quite humorous that you and I are both okay, our bodies are calibrating to this next level. So
that's what I think it is. And it's so interesting because it was okay, I'm pushing to do it. And I'm like, no, you can do it. And you know what? It's so interesting because I think sometimes that we have to keep our expectations to how where we're at instead of pushing. And I think even that is interesting that I stopped and I went, okay, are you pushing me this? I'm like, no, you're okay. You can do this. This is what's on tap for today. But I also did pare down a lot of other things that I had planned on today. And apparently my desk isn't going to get to it. We'll see.
But I think for what you and I are both navigating, I think this is the most beautiful topic that we could discuss and share about today, because collaboration is everything. I couldn't imagine. I know I'll speak into my journey a little bit before we do. I'll share who I am. So my name is Megan Weir. I am a strategic performance coach, and I help entrepreneurs move from feeling anxious to feel anchored and alive. And I support them in growing and scaling their businesses with confidence and clarity. And who are you?
I love this. I am Marsha Van Weinsberg, and I'm an NLP trainer. And it means I'm super fascinated about helping people to change their thoughts, their beliefs, their stories, and to see their stories differently, really to help them to become outspoken and get their message out into the world, whether that is through speaking, writing, podcasting, publishing, all of the things. But it's just really is this piece of helping people to step in to see that they can rewrite their story no matter what their circumstances are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dynamite. So I've been on the entrepreneurial journey for 9 years, and let's be honest, it can feel very isolating, especially if you're in a community. I always look at your community and oh, that's amazing. There's so many women in this arena doing this work, and it's so inspiring to see. Where I live, there isn't a lot of people doing what I do. So it can feel isolating where I'm in my beautiful studio working throughout the day with my clients virtually for the most part. Now I'm doing in person, but it can feel very isolating. And so with that, I've created an abundance of programs, masterminds and everything. And still it was so rewarding, but it felt like there was something missing. There was something missing. And I saw a quote the other day where it was competition is at the bottom and the people who are at the top are collaborating. And I couldn't agree with that quote more. And which really invited you and I to start to, join forces with one another 4 years ago when we met in a mastermind. And I know as soon as I moved from that space of just being a solopreneur and moving to the space of being in the rooms, whether it was virtual masterminds or going to live events, there's so much power and potency in those spaces where it gives you that fuel to grow and scale to that next level.
Incredibly well said. I couldn't agree more. I have always loved the idea of collaboration, and I feel that, it's taken me a long time to actually embody it. As I was listening to, I felt the importance of sharing a sense that it took time to build trust, to work with others and to collaborate. And I didn't grow up in a collaborative type environment where it was we can all win. It was no, they have something you don't. And just do your thing, don't share. It was that kind of mentality. It was very interesting and different. And I just think that's what times were like. And there was probably a lot of, I don't say sister wounds, but the wounds of not allowing that other women in, and women can sometimes be quite like that's been some of my experience. So when it came time to start to embrace collaboration and hearing about it, I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And I mean, I've had some great collaborations, and I've had some where I was like, oh, I won't do that one again. Like that was interesting. And it's not about anyone else, it's recognizing what works for me in order to be in that space. And so what I can say is like, definitely, like you and I started collaborating. We were in the same mastermind 4 years ago. And it made me think of when you were just saying this now, a sense that, whenever you take a program or you're involved in something, you do have to live at cause, right? Like you have to live at cause to be able to get the most out of it. And the other thing is that we also knew after finishing I'm going to say this, after finishing our practitioner experience, that we wanted to get more out of the master practitioner experience. And so we started to commit to a regular basis of supporting each other twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, just to be able to help our skills. And then during that time, it was like, okay, we started to connect even more and we started to collaborate even more. So I believe that that collaborative energy was built, right? I think it was built over time. Yes, it was from being in a room 4 years ago, but it was also nurtured and built. And then I think over even from there is really recognizing how much you had something that I wanted to learn. I had something that you wanted to learn. Like, then it was like, okay, wait, well, we can both help each other. And so I think it's been very divine in how it's all lined up in a sense, right? And you and I both say it all the time that your person who you might be like, who could be your next best person to connect or collaborate with could be in the room that you're fearful of walking into, or the room, whether that's virtual or in person. And so I just wanted to share that like long-winded story, but hopefully with a point is the piece of that. And, even in-person collaboration over the last few years, when it was like, okay, I want to create new connections with people, but it was also strange because we hadn't been live for so long that it felt weird. And I've walked into a lot of different rooms over the last probably 2 years consistently, and I would say it's been probably the last like 6 months, 6 to 12 months, where I'm finding more of the in-person rooms and the in-person connections. And it's beautiful. I think we actually appreciate it more now. Like I think we appreciate it more now because we didn't have it for so long. And so when you get into the right rooms, whether they're virtual or in person for collaboration, it's interesting because they fill you, they don't take from you, right? Like you ever have those feelings where it's like, oh my God, I need to get, like, this room is not working for me. And sometimes that's my own energy, or sometimes it's just, I'm not in the right room. And so I feel like this has been something that we have done. We have Alliance, which is our free networking space where we network differently. That we've done that since April. And that's been a free space that I feel like we've also held the integrity and the energy of the container. And that's been 100% virtual. And you and I've done it. We've done it in person as well. So it's just, I think it's beautiful on both sides of it, but I felt called to share that part of it.
I love that. I love it. And I know for me, so like having that discernment to be able to like trust one another is, it's been built over time. And when we received the download to do this, it also took a little time to curate, right? Like it was just like, yes, it's but you and I are both like, it has to be a full body yes.
And I love that. I think that was awesome. Like this first downloaded in January of this year. And it was like, okay, great. Let's just see what comes from it. And I think that's a beautiful thing of not forcing it, right?
100%. So in terms of you and I collaborating, that's one significant piece. But let's speak into the space of, I know for me, when I'm not in the rooms, when I'm here on my own in my studio,
Yep.
my business is growing, but not to the extent that is possible when I'm in other spaces, when I make the investments to be in other masterminds. Would you agree?
Oh, I would 100% agree.
Yeah. So how has joining forces inside various masterminds, or like you and I are both in a mastermind right now. So how has that allowed your business to grow and scale?
you're picking on an example I'm walking through right now that is just so massive and so expansive. And it actually came from a connection that happened almost 9 years ago from a person I met in a collaborative book who we just really connected and collaborated. And I adore her and how she is always just cheering other women on, really is. Mm-hmm. She made a referral to another client of hers this year, and that has been one of the most expansive things I have been a part of and continues to be. And I think it's just literally getting started. So it takes your business in places that you can't see yet, and it's available for you. Like, it's available for you. You don't know it yet because you're still always growing into that version of yourself. But I feel that that is what that has done. And now, like, we're working with a collaborative book that we are bringing to life that has more than 22 authors, and it's still growing. And today's the last day. And it's just like, wow, what is happening? But here's the thing. I found a quote the other day, and I'm not going to remember it off by heart, but goes with this, is put yourself in the rooms where the women will shout your name out even when you're not there.
Yes.
They will shout your words. Yeah, they will shout your name out even if you're not there. And that is what's happened. I have gotten some referrals from people that it's like, oh, I wasn't even in that room. Like, that wasn't even that room. And they were speaking in that energy. And I think that's beautiful. Yes, please, for me. Yeah. That and that's how I also do, right? If it's somebody that crosses my path, and there have been times I'm like, I am not the best person for you, but I do know somebody. Mm-hmm. I do know somebody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, so much juiciness in this conversation. And I'm going to touch on a few things, but one that first came up was you and I both want our people to win. Like,
oh,
so
yes.
much. Christina, who is a dear friend of yours, was in Chrysalis with us.
Yeah.
She made a testimonial, so I'm not sharing anything that she hasn't shared on my IG page. But she said, Meg, you want us to win. Like, this is why we keep saying yes to you, because you want us to win. And it's so true. Yeah. And I know that I wouldn't be collaborating with you if you didn't want others to win too. And I think that is a potent piece of what is so unique with what we do, is that we hold this energy, this vision, this intention for people to just continue to rise up and, like, be seen and just have the utmost success, right? But I love that you also shared how you connected with this individual 9 years ago. You still have this relationship.
I still do. Yeah, I still do.
It's getting better and better from what I hear.
Yes.
And isn't that's so profound? And so I invested in Marsha's Write Your Damn Book Mastermind, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Mm-hmm. And Marsha brought forth this opportunity to be a collaborative author in this book. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing, but I'm good. I'm going to just focus on writing my book. And I just kept watching, like, I over the years, I've made choices, which is all a learning experience where there's no regrets, right? But it's also like, okay, learned. Now I learned to have this deep discernment within myself, whether it has to be a full body yes. Yeah. And also, who am I partnering with? Because it's really important, right?
Yep.
We share the same values, and integrity is one of my highest values. So I kept watching, and I was like, and of course I trust you. And I was like, all of a sudden I was like, I literally had this down. I'm gonna be a part of this collaborative book. So it's like, wow, far out. But now that I've said yes to this, I was like, yes, like this. Like, I already feel like I'm not even in the room yet, but I feel like I'm in the room. I feel like I'm in the energy, and I feel like I'm in this expansion. I'm like, wow, this is the power of collaboration. Because it's like, it literally takes you to that next level. Even if you haven't even gotten into the room yet, when you say yes to something, it's like, I'm already growing and expanding. And I literally feel, as you and I both shared, like, you may not see it, but we're both not feeling 100% today. But I feel like it's like this energetic upgrade happening right now. Yeah. Releasing those old energies, old frequencies to make space for what we're calling in. Right?
100%. we were voice noting like while I was laying on the bed this morning, and I was like, I feel like this is all part of it, right? This is all part of it. It's like you have to release in order to continue to like move and grow. And it's not a place of like, oh, I hope I get here. It's like, I know we can all get here. Like we all can. And I feel like that is just, there is nothing I want to see more than see more women have success in their business and doing something that they love, like literally. And it actually is really hard for me when I see it and they don't see it yet. I'm just going to speak into this for a second, because it's like when I see it, and I mean, I really do believe this is a big thing for me personally, because I've had people who've seen it in me when I didn't see it yet. I've had lots of people. And it won't matter until you see it. But there's so much that I do see for others. Like, I think you were one of the first people I mentioned about the collaborative book, maybe. And it was interesting. And you're like, no, and I'm like, okay, no pressure. I totally saw it. Totally saw it. But you had to be the person to see that, right? That's the piece of it. But when I see so many women who are in a space of like wanting to really step up and allow themselves like to be seen, use their voice, like be consistent, show up online, whatever that is. And I see them falling short. I feel I want, like, that actually hits me, and I want to help them to rise. So, because I deep down do believe there's more than enough for everybody, and we can all rise. Like, we can all go so much further together.
Yes. We're so much stronger together. And there is definitely more than enough for all of us. And it's that abundance mindset that has allowed both you and I just to continue to grow and expand and serve the capacity that we are and that we will continue to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I know I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't say yes to the spaces and places that felt like a huge stretch for me. It's like, I look back on like where I'd come from, like I would not be here today if I didn't get into those spaces that expanded me. If I didn't get into those collaborative spaces where it's like, hey, you're doing like, and it doesn't matter what journey you're on, whether you're a coach or a realtor or whatever, right? It's like you have a vision, you have a mission. Do your values align with ours? Let's roll. Let's do this, right? Like that's the power of collaboration right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that talk it and say it. I don't think there's as many who actually live it. So, again, your own discernment to figure out where that is. But you want to be in containers and spaces where people are doing that. And even if it's not business, right? There's a lot of different ways that I even look at my own personal life where it's like built those kinds of connections where it's like, I can reach out for some support. I can reach out for, a couple of voice notes and a catch up and a piece like this. It's like, we're not supposed to do it all alone. We're absolutely not. And I think there's also this, there's so much energy in the world of, women putting that strong face on and not showing anything and just sucking it up and doing it and carrying the whole load. And I mean, I don't know, we didn't sign up for that. Like, that's just not like, that's a false belief that we have to do. And there's a lot, and chances are really good if you do believe that you have a lot of friends who believe that too, because that's just a belief that's there. And so I feel like this is something that can support us in all areas of our life.
Yeah. 100%. So for me, moving into, I mean, we're finishing 2024 strong. Let's just say that, right?
Yep.
Moving into 2025, like I have a very clear vision of where my business is and is where it's headed, and I know you do too. But as I reflect on these choices and investments I've made, it's all collaboration. Like the mastermind you and I are doing is collaborative. The live event that we're doing is collaborative. The book that I'm now in is collaborative, right? Like I really feel like in this big picture vision, right? This is the way the world is headed. Like we are in collaboration. We are so much stronger together. Like this is the new way.
And that's so interesting you say that, because I see that in I when I'm just thinking in my head and looking at projects for next year, like a lot of them are collaborative. And even in the other things, like with us for publishing and for supporting authors and for bringing, master practitioner to life and what we're doing. Like that's not a like, oh, I did it myself. Nope, nope, nope. It's actually won't happen. Those things won't finish and won't come to fruition if I tried to do it all on my own. So it's like in so many aspects, collaboration is a big part of every, like, even just as you're saying that, I'm just thinking of all the different parts of my business, and it's evident everywhere. And it is something I did resist for a really long time because it just felt foreign and new. And I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. And it really was. Now all of a sudden it's like, it's normalizing it. And it is, why would I not want to do it that way? Why would I not? And it can be so much more fun at the same time. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. This is the collective energy. There's big shifts happening. I'm not an astrologist, but there's big shifts happening within the planets next week. Seriously. We're moving into this collective energy. Like we are moving it like that collectively. This is what's happening on, like, we're in the space and place of collaboration. So if you're feeling the energetic upgrades too, like Marsha and I, like, let's roll. Like, you can thank you, body. Thank you for preparing me for this next level of expansion, because I know exactly that's what's happening right now.
It's just too funny, honestly, that we're both feeling it at the same time. And I was like, oh, I am definitely off today. But yeah, I think it's just the body is just being asked for this, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So if you're interested in learning more about the HeartWired CEO, we are right now in the pre-sale phase until the end of this month, where you get some pretty sweet kick-ass bonuses, don't you?
You get some incredible bonuses, as well as the opportunity for a VIP upgrade where you get support, like a one-on-one support, two-on-one support, or one-on-one support. And also the live event that we are building out for next year. It is, this is one of these things, one of these examples where, like, we're creating what we wish we would have had. And actually, in a lot of ways, what you and I built. Yeah. Like, this is like, we actually have built this over the last couple of years in our own way. Because there were times when we even met to work and connect. It's like, what's going on in your business? Where can you use some support? So, like, this is that energy of it, right? But yeah, that's exactly what we've been doing already. So it's available. And if you want to see yourself in this kind of energy, in this kind of environment over the next year, then we invite you to take a peek. You can either message us directly, or you can, we've got lots of info in our bio. This is just also this series that we're doing, the Heartbeat of My Business. This is a 6-part series. This is part number 4. I checked my computer. This is part 4 that we are on right now. So we have 2 more to go over the next week. And we're just putting that out there as more content to support you and understanding what it can look like when you are actually bringing, like, the strategic masculine and the, embodied feminine energy, receiving energy into it. Because can I say that one piece? Yeah. Can I actually just, the piece on collaboration that I think I resisted it for so long. Also understanding it requires, like, a lot of healed feminine energy to allow yourself to receive support, to ask for support. And as well, that you can't grow your business without learning how to receive. Sorry, women, you just can't. I tried for a really long time. Yeah. It's like the receiving muscle is real. It is absolutely real. And if you can't, like, learn how to do that, then you might find yourself pushing away so much success that is available for you. So I just wanted to share that piece because I think it goes really well with, like, sisterhood collaboration as well.
100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Receive mode on. Get ready. Get ready to roll. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so lit up about this. And it's just the beautiful women that are coming inside and joining forces with us. And I know for me personally, why I got into the work that I do is because, first and foremost, I was really stuck in my healing journey, riddled with anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, bad eating disorder. And I made a vow that I would do everything in my power to help those on their healing journey. And it's because that was my mission and my vision, and still is to help people on their healing journey. And then getting into the business role, I was like, oh my goodness, there is so much missing here.
Yeah.
And especially in regards to integrity and and what is delivered. And it's like, again, that is like, no, I want to show people that there's a better way. There's a different way. There's an embodied way. There's an integral way. Right. And it's always mission focused. It's never about me. It's always about them. And I know exact same for you with the work that you do.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah.
It is. It's actually, I feel like a bit of a teacher sometimes because I just get to watch it. And when I get to see them like step up and do something that they're uncomfortable with, the first time they're posting something, the first time they do a live, I'm like, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. It's just so awesome. I get so excited. And so, yeah, it is. I definitely, it's like wanting to see them win.
Yeah. So this is the energy. This is the intention of what you will receive and more inside of the HeartWired CEO with Marsha and I. And I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else. No. Couldn't.
It wouldn't have come to life at all. And it would have been forced. This has been very beautiful in how it has come together. Yeah. And I'm so proud of us and of me, of like not pushing, because I'm the Aries, right? I'm the like, oh, let's just get the shit done and do it. And it was like, no, the right way will land. Yeah. And then it did. And this just feels so, so, so good. Can I ask you one quick question while I have you here? Because I think this is important. So Sisterhood and collaboration, you have run big masterminds before. I say mastermind, big as in like expansive containers. What are you most excited about having like 2 mentors to run a mastermind compared to what you've done before with one? I just want to add because of the value of that.
Yeah. You know what? It's such a great question. And as much as I love holding my own containers and holding my own spaces, it was actually bringing Leslie into our space during the immersion.
Yeah.
In Sedona, where I recognized where the house that I rented for us was like 20 minutes away from town. And it was a completely different setting from where I had the immersion for the first round in Costa Rica. So I was like, I need support. And at that point, I had not had, I just had some experiences working with other people where I was like, maybe not the best choices. And so because my spaces are sacred, you guys are like, I protect you. Like,
true.
That's my intention.
You honor it.
Like, just to keep you in a safe space.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who am I going to bring in? I was like, it was a no-brainer to bring Leslie. Leslie is my chosen sister. And she came in and it was just like, I was like, oh, like my nervous system, even though I'm like already dropped in, I was like, this just felt so good. And I was like, wow, imagine. And that's why I didn't relaunch Chrysalis Volume 3. I was like, something is shifting here and I'm going to sit with it. And again, that is integrity, because I could have run with the energy and the potency off of CV2, do CV3. And I was like, no, something's changing, shifting, integrating. And that I'm just going to say is the power of having an integral leader too.
Oh, wait,
right.
I knew I was hoping you would go there. I did want to say that because you could have easily launched it and probably sold at least half the spots right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, I don't. And I remember saying, even in the summer, I'm like, so what you doing? Like, what are you? And you're like, I don't know. I'm being asked to pause right now.
Yeah.
And that's like, that speaks volumes integrity wise. So I really appreciate you sharing both parts of that because I knew that was in there and I wanted to kind of pull that out.
Yeah. So bringing Leslie in, I was like, wow, this is like next level for my girls, my women.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is next level support for them. I was like, okay, so imagine what that would look like if I collaborated with, because you and I have this sacred freaking bond. Like, it's not easy for me to let people in. I'm just going to say it. Right. And like, I trust you with my life. And I don't say that to many I've known. And, it just made sense to say, hey, Marsha, like, let's do this. Like, let's take this to the next level. And, just because I know we complement each other so beautifully. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I received that. And I actually, like, I'm just proud of you for sharing that because in a time where everything is like the cash flow, the sell the things, the run the things and do it in the online space, I really respected you sitting going, I don't know, I'm being asked to sit right now and I'm going to listen. So I think that's really valuable. And I just wanted to share, I just really wanted to tap into that because it's not easy to collaborate in this way. It's different to run like a little program. This is a big thing. Like this is a big, but it's a big thing and a big experience. So imagine if you're coming into it as a client, like what that is like to be able to tap into the energy of like, yes, you all get to win, this energy of collaboration and sisterhood. And we want to see you succeed. And hopefully also, if you're listening, this piece that you feel supported, because that's important for us.
100%. Oh, I'm just like flooded with shivers. Like, we will meet you wherever you're at. We're not the type of people that will be just like forcing and pushing, but we'll also see the gaps where there's like, hey, let's have a conversation, right? Like if there's something that we're both very intuitive, let's just say that. So yeah.
Probably more so than than I realized. Let's just say that.
I will like,
yeah, it took me time. That's another story for another day. We'll share that on another day.
We could be here all day.
Yes.
Awesome. Anyways, message us if you have any questions. We're happy to jump on a call, either one or both of us. And otherwise, we'll see you for the heartbeat of your business on Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.